Welcome to Frost and Sullivan's Growth Podcast. In each episode, we take a deeper look at transformative shifts shaping global ecosystems, from industry megatrends and technology innovation to evolving customer expectations. Today, we're exploring growth avenues in content creation, orchestration, and management, unpacking where the next wave of opportunity is unfolding and what it means for future-ready businesses.
A few years ago, the biggest challenge in content was creation. Brands struggled to produce enough blogs, videos, campaigns, product descriptions, and customer communications to generate sufficient demand. Today, that problem has completely flipped. Thanks to AI, machine learning, and the creator economy, organizations can now create content at a scale that once seemed impossible. One marketer can generate hundreds of assets in a day. Entire campaigns can be drafted in minutes. Personalized customer experiences can now be built dynamically and delivered instantly. But here's the catch. The real bottleneck is no longer production. It's orchestration. Because producing 10 times more content doesn't automatically create 10 times more value or revenue. In many cases, it creates confusion, duplication, inconsistency, compliance risk, and operational chaos. And that's exactly where the intelligence revolution is reshaping the future of content creation and management. Because this transformation isn't about creating more content, it's about building intelligent systems that know how content should move, adapt, personalize, and perform in real time. So here's the question to start with. If AI can now create almost unlimited content, what actually determines competitive advantage moving forward?
One of the biggest contradiction organizations are facing right now. Content production has scaled dramatically, but orchestration hasn't. That gap is becoming one of the most expensive operational problems in modern business. Think about what's happening inside enterprises today. Marketing teams are using generative AI tools. Sales teams are creating their own assets. Customer service teams are generating automated responses. HR departments are building internal knowledge systems. Product teams are creating interactive documentation. Everyone is creating content, but very few organizations have unified systems capable of coordinating all of it. And that creates what many leaders are now calling content entropy. Different versions of the same asset begin circulating across channels. Messaging becomes inconsistent. Teams duplicate work without realizing it. Campaigns lose continuity. Compliance becomes harder to enforce, and customers start receiving fragmented experiences. What makes this more dangerous is that AI accelerates both efficiency and mistakes simultaneously. An outdated statistic used once was previously a manageable issue. Now, an AI-powered workflow can spread that same mistake across hundreds of touch points in seconds. That changes the economics of content management entirely. The future is no longer about content repositories. It's about intelligent orchestration layers capable of synchronizing assets, workflows, approvals, context, governance, and delivery across an increasingly dynamic ecosystem.
Now let's talk about the 6 megatrends fundamentally disrupting content creation and management. The first is agentic content orchestration. Generative AI removed the production bottleneck, but now humans themselves are becoming the friction point. Approvals take too long. Distribution is fragmented. Workflows require too many manual interventions. That's why organizations are shifting toward AI agents capable of autonomously executing multi-step workflows, from ideation and localization to optimization and publishing. In this new model, humans increasingly act as supervisors, not operators. The second megatrend is spatial content liquidity. As augmented reality, digital twins, and spatial computing mature, content is no longer confined to screens. Products are becoming interactive experiences. Retailers are building virtual environments. Manufacturers are using digital twins. Brands are experimenting with immersive commerce. But creating volumetric 3D content at scale remains extremely difficult. The real growth opportunity lies in simplifying 3D production through self-service tools, reusable assets, and cloud-edge rendering systems. Third, content authenticity and provenance. Deepfakes and synthetic media are making trust a strategic issue. Organizations now need systems that can prove where content originated, how it was modified, and whether it's authentic. This is where standards like C2PA become critical, embedding cryptographically signed metadata directly into digital assets. Fourth, outcome-focused monetization. Traditional software pricing models are losing relevance. Customers increasingly want to pay for measurable business outcomes, not licenses or seats. That means content platforms will increasingly price around performance metrics, approved content variants, conversion improvements, automated resolutions, engagement outcomes. The fifth trend is unified content operating systems. The old approach separated creation, management, collaboration, and delivery into disconnected systems. That model is collapsing. Organizations now need unified ecosystems where content, workflows, semantic intelligence, and collaboration operate together in real time. And finally, algorithmic sovereignty. AI regulations are fragmenting globally. Organizations must now address copyright transparency, training data governance, synthetic content labeling, and regional compliance requirements. Because AI governance is quickly becoming a board-level issue. And here's the real strategic question. Which of these megatrends will disrupt your business model first, and how will your organization adapt?
Now let's look at something most organizations still underestimate: the cost of poor orchestration. And interestingly, the biggest costs are often invisible. At first glance, AI-driven content creation appears incredibly efficient, but behind the scenes, many organizations are creating operational complexity faster than they're creating value. Think about the daily reality inside many enterprises. Teams manually chasing approvals, duplicate versions across platforms, endless Slack messages clarifying edits, brand inconsistencies between channels, outdated messaging appearing in live campaigns. And the more content organizations create, the more fragile the system becomes without intelligent orchestration. There's also a cognitive cost. Creative professionals increasingly spend more time managing workflows than creating meaningful experiences. That's a dangerous shift, because when highly skilled teams become trapped in operational maintenance, innovation slows down. Then there's the reputational risk. AI systems can amplify mistakes at unprecedented speed. One inaccurate statement, one compliance violation, one off-brand response, and suddenly the issue spreads across channels instantly. What used to be isolated errors are now systemic risks. This is why orchestration is no longer just an operational function.
Now we move into one of the most important growth opportunities emerging today: neural content supply chains. This is where content operations become increasingly autonomous, predictive, and continuously optimized. Imagine a workflow where an AI agent receives a campaign brief, another generates variants for different audiences, another localizes assets regionally, another validates compliance, another optimizes distribution timing, and another dynamically adjusts content based on customer engagement signals, all with minimal human intervention. That's the direction the market is heading, and this changes everything. Because content stops being a static deliverable. Instead, it becomes a living system. A system continuously learning, adapting, optimizing, and responding in real time. This creates enormous growth opportunities in AI orchestration platforms, intelligent workflow engines, predictive content systems, autonomous compliance validation, real-time personalization infrastructure. And the companies that build these systems early will gain a massive scalability advantage. Because while competitors are still manually coordinating workflows, intelligent enterprises will operate continuously at machine speed.
Now let's explore how customer experiences themselves are changing. Because content is no longer something people simply consume. Increasingly, it's something they interact with. Spatial computing, augmented reality, immersive commerce, and digital twins are reshaping customer engagement models across industries. A product page may soon become a fully interactive environment. Training manuals may evolve into immersive simulations. Retail experiences may shift toward real-time spatial interaction. But here's what's fascinating. As experiences become more immersive, trust becomes even more important. Customers won't just ask, "Is this engaging?" They'll ask, "Is this authentic?" That's why provenance systems are becoming foundational infrastructure. This shift fundamentally changes digital asset management. Traditional DAM systems were designed for storage. Future systems must support authenticity, traceability, and intelligence. At the same time, DXPs, or digital experience platforms, are evolving too. Instead of serving static journeys, they're becoming predictive orchestration engines. These systems dynamically assemble experiences based on customer intent, behavioral signals, contextual data, real-time interactions. That means organizations can reduce friction between interest and action dramatically. And in a world of shrinking attention spans, reducing friction becomes a massive competitive advantage. So here's the key question. In the future, will your customer experiences simply deliver content or intelligently adapt around human intent in real time?
So how should organizations actually respond? Because recognizing disruption is one thing. Operationalizing transformation is something entirely different. The first priority is optimizing the content value chain. Organizations must eliminate unnecessary friction, manual file conversions, repetitive approvals, disconnected workflows, isolated asset repositories. The goal is speed with intelligence, not speed alone. Second, organizations need to prepare for a 3D-first future. Content architectures designed for static images and documents won't support immersive ecosystems effectively. Businesses need structured environments capable of handling volumetric assets, interactive experiences, spatial metadata, dynamic rendering workflows. Third, trust must become embedded directly into the system, not added later. Authenticity verification, provenance tracking, governance policies, and compliance validation should exist at the infrastructure level, not as reactive processes. And fourth, organizations must design for predictive experiences. Customers increasingly expect systems to anticipate needs instead of forcing users to search endlessly. That requires AI-native orchestration capable of assembling experiences dynamically around behavior and intent.
In conclusion, the future of content is no longer about publishing. It's about coordination, adaptation, trust, intelligence, and real-time value creation. And maybe the most important takeaway is this: the intelligence revolution isn't replacing creativity. It's redefining the systems surrounding creativity.
That's all for today. Thanks for joining us on Frost & Sullivan's Growth Podcast. For access to our research, competitive benchmarking, and best practice frameworks, head over to frost.com or email hello@frost.com. We'll be back soon with more to help you stay clear-headed and growth-ready.